Welcome back, everybody. We got a new episode of the Bobcast today. We're coming back after, I think, a few weeks of going back and forth with Satch on his project for Cruise Boost Simulation in Unreal Engine 4. This is the fourth revision, so we've gone back a few times already since you guys saw the first version. And from what I've played so far, it's looking really, really good. So we're excited to show it to you guys today. We have some guests on the podcast as well. We have Satch himself, we have Ringo, and Freeze again.
Yo,
What's
what's
up,
up?
guys?
Hey guys.
All right. And just a reminder before we get into this, races are coming back to the channel on Friday. We're going to have some races with some community members in BFB 100%, and that's going to be going on for the next couple of months. So here's a little sneak peek of what that's going to look like here. Make sure you tune into that because it's going to be exciting. We're going to have races all day. I'm going to work on the scheduling in a couple of days once the bracket's finalized, and yeah, I'll see you there. All right, so now we're getting into the real full course here with the Cruise Boost simulation. Just a reminder, guys, when you're watching this, this is not intended to be a remake of the game. This is intended to just simulate and improve that cruise boosting as not literally the way it's exactly coded in renderware, but it's to prove that it can be you can simulate it, you can replicate it the way it feels, and maybe not exactly the way that it works, but just that you can have the functionality of it to be able to jump across gaps. The turning is the right speed. You can use it to string moves together with the bashes and slams. These things, just the way we perceive it as players. That's what we're trying to replicate here. We're not trying to make it the exact same way, like how L clips and L bowls and lag clips. Those things aren't a priority here. We're just trying to make it so the game has fun and creative movement. That's the goal.
Yeah, where's SBA?
Yeah, let's just add that next and just kill the game before it comes out.
Version
yeah.
6.
Just trying to have fun.
This is the first time that I've tried this out. I didn't get an opportunity to with the first version you made, but this feels nice. I like it actually.
Yeah, so actually I'm about to try it out now. And yeah, some things that got changed, just like for as far as animations and just I guess like graphic stuff. Satch implemented
a list of patch notes.
In a second. I'm just gonna explain like the basic stuff to the boys in the stream. So, we actually added a second animation for double jumping, just so you can clearly see when a double jump is active, because that was like a problem last time that people weren't able to tell when you had your double jump active. Like if you walk off this ledge here, you can clearly see how far you can walk off without being able to preserve your jump. You can tell when it's a second jump and not a single jump. So yeah, stuff like that. Like any small graphic improvements were not for the sake of making it look polished, but just for testing functionality. Like these blocks that were added were just to have like flat walls to cruise boost on. So Satch, if you want to go over the patch notes, go ahead.
Okay, sure. So since version 3, which you did show on stream, but not during a podcast.
Right. Yeah, I'd probably just talk assuming that they haven't seen any of them since the first one.
So I added a few things. One of the big requests was having the cruise bubble auto cancel if you're moving too fast. So if you move more than 50 centimeters in this version, the cruise boost will auto detonate. I also had to rework spin stalling. So this is probably, I think, the 5th version of spin stalling. I'm kind of kicking myself because in Bobcast 1, I said oh yeah, purple lamp adding spin stalling will be very easy, but it ended up being one of the hardest mechanics to make, just because it's so difficult to align the velocity so it feels familiar to the original. I also adjusted the camera quite a bit, so if you notice, if you move to the left and right, the camera will spin how it does in the original, and then if you keep moving to the left or right, it'll start ramping up. Like walking.
Great
Barrier
Reef!
And then if you hold it down for more than a second, it's almost a double the speed of what it is. I also added goo to make sure that I wasn't going to soft lock the game. So part of what makes game development so difficult when you have so many different abilities interacting with each other is you run the risk of having soft locks. So, like, say for example, you cancel the function that gives SpongeBob back his airspeed when he's doing a bash. He'll fall on the ground and he won't be able to actually move because he never got his movement speed back. So I added the goo to make sure that if he's ever interrupted, he'll make sure that he keeps all that movement speed. If you want, you can actually hit the 1 key, and then that'll activate the debug mode.
Oh, sweet. Okay, that's pretty cool too. Oh wait, what did I just press? Oh Jesus. Oh god. What is a semicolon, dude? I just getting a.
Oh, okay. This is cool. Let me make this bigger so you guys can see it. I'll actually add a different window for this.
What button on the keyboard? Is there a keyboard mapping for the bubble bowl? Because I see that there's the bash here.
For Bubble Bowl, well, actually, let me check. I have the project open.
I'm interested. I'm kind of interested how this would feel with the keyboard and mouse.
I did not try mapping it to a keyboard and mouse. I kind of gave up on that. To prove how much I didn't care, tab is cruise bubble. That's how much I didn't care about keyboard buttons.
Yeah, I saw that. And then shift does the bash here.
There's no bind for bubble bowling on keyboard.
That actually makes me sad. That's okay.
Maybe
this is interesting because I haven't even thought about that. Like, what if you cruise boosted in like I can imagine that it'd be really weird looking.
Unless.
So as soon as you see that red text, that's the activation window for cruise boosting. It is the first frame when you start a bubble bowl.
Oh, so we actually have like a cruise boost speed tester here. There we go. This is a good one. Oh, I just forgot that we had goo in this version.
Yeah, so just like the original, if you hit goo, then it will cancel your cruise boost.
Perfect.
Because it runs
this man tried walking on goo.
Is there any way that I should share my screen to show mine, or is that too distracting?
We probably just don't even have room for it, honestly. It's like, yeah.
So you notice there's actually 3 different markers for speed. One is de facto speed, which is the total displacement SpongeBob has over the course of a frame. And then there is movement speed, which is the movement you supply the engine with your analog stick. And there's bowling speed. So the reason cruise boosting exists is because the bowling speed is separate from your movement speed. So if you align them together, which are those 2 vectors, the blue and the orange, they will propel you forward much faster.
Yep, that's exactly it. And yeah, I love this this visual representation of, if you guys can't tell, like the blue line is my current analog direction, and the orange is the cruise boost vector, like as Satch was saying before. So it's really like shows, this is actually pretty cool because it does feel very, very close to the original, like as close as you could probably get, honestly. You can kind of see like these are things you can't see in the actual game when you watch me play it on stream. But if you take a look, look at the inputs for standing still with cruise boosting. I'm pretty much almost pulling entirely back. So this is why like it feels so weird, and like a lot of people don't realize like how much effort has to go into like controlling this once you have it. You're really just fighting that orange vector that's pushing you forward constantly, and this blue one is just my input, like which way I'm walking. Now, as Satch was talking about earlier, like the turning speed is also like turning speed, camera movement, everything goes into this to make it feel the way it does. And one of the things that we actually looked into during the time that we had to go back and forth on this project was like how the bubble bowl speed of turning for the movement impacts, you know, how fast you can turn during a cruise boost, because during a bubble bowl shot you have a limited range of turning because the game gives you like a more precise lineup. Like you turn slower so you can line up the shot easier. So that kind of gets stuck with you once you use cruise boost because the bowling state never really ends. So now like the reason why you have this effect here, unlike the previous version where I can pull back and I'm kind of standing in place and pivoting around this center point that you can kind of imagine here, is because the bubble bowl speed for turning gives you 1/10 of your normal turning speed. And when you're storing this cruise boost, it allows you to have this movement where you only turn at 1/10 your speed. Now that seems like, it seems like why would you want to turn slower, And that is subjective, that is subjective, like why you would want to turn slower when you'd be able to have the option to turn faster if cruise boosting is reprogrammed into this game. But the thing is, the objective of this project was to try and replicate it as is to prove that it's possible to have the same mechanic in this game. So that's more reasoning behind that. But yeah, Satch, this feels really, really good compared to even the third version. It feels a lot better. I actually haven't gotten the chance to try the slamming yet.
Yeah, try that. I reworked that quite a bit as well.
Yeah, I mean it feels good. And I like the momentum on the bash as well.
The momentum, it has really good weight. When you fall down, it feels very similar to the actual game.
I think the spin is just definitely going to be the biggest challenge here, because you can definitely tell,
Yeah, because he accelerates pretty quick when he's falling down.
Yeah, he
so
falls
the stalling
really
is
fast.
fine. The stalling is pretty fine. But it almost seems like the stalling doesn't affect how long he's been in the air for, that the gravity affects him.
Oh, you know
So, like
what?
I said,
I think
this,
I may have misspoken when I relayed this information, but so I think you might have the animation tied to this, how long he gets stalled in the air for. Is that right?
Yeah, that's the way I had to work it.
Okay, so that makes more sense. Yeah. So in the original game, I was saying this because it was kind of creating an illusion for me when I looked at it, and because I expected the spin to be faster, it felt like it was going slower in a way. Pretty much what I was saying is if you could make the spin this fast, but have the stalling speed be the same. The stalling speed extends past the point where the animation ends. But I get you're doing it with animation, so you have to remake the animation to even make that a thing. But now that we that's the only thing that I can really notice that would need to be changed. Honestly, everything else is great. Just the stall should last longer, and that's it. That's literally all I have.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, there are small things like how long you get stuck to the ground for after you slam, but that's not really a problem. That's honestly
that's tied to how long the animation ends too. So
okay, that makes sense. If you just dragged out the slamming on the ground animation longer, if you're stuck to the ground in this phase where you're on the ground longer, that would fix that. Then okay, so I understand a little bit more about how you made this now. Then how you have it's all tied to animations, so that would just be a matter of Seal said he was working on importing the animations, right? So I guess in the version that we show Purple Lamp, that one would have the actual animations, so they could be tied to those in that case.
yeah, if I have the original animations, then this will be a no-brainer.
Exactly. So once Seal gets those, Seal said it'll be done by tonight. Perfect. Awesome. Yep.
Sweet.
And really, if it's all tied to animations, then there's nothing else I really have except for the only thing actually is the activation. I can't really I can't get this down. I really just can't get it down. How this
so you can see the
works.
red text, right? That is the frame that you can cruise boost.
The red text or the orange text?
The red text. It appears for one frame, and it says cruise boost activation open, or cruise boost.
I see. Yeah, it's below bowling speed when you do the bowl or when you do it.
Wait. Oh, that means that you got the frame. Okay, I got it.
So if you don't see it, that means you're too late. And then if you see it and a bubble bowl comes out, then you're too early.
Okay, perfect. That's actually good, so I can tell when I get it or not.
I also added a conveyor belt land over near the first area if you wanted to try that out too. That was a special request.
Yeah, then you.
Oh yeah, that'd be. Yep. Okay, we'll do that. We'll do that. Okay, so I can tell what I'm missing in now. That's good. Maybe it's just because this controller is ass. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, that's my main problem at the moment too.
Because I couldn't tell when I wasn't getting it because the controller is so ass that I'm
I'd
using.
love to have an OG Xbox controller. Honestly, that would be very nice.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so.
Why don't you guys just buy the Duke controller or whatever that is?
It's in the
Like
budget.
We got different speeds too. We got Tiki Cup Boost Simulator. This is so cool. Yep, this is fucking awesome, dude. This is so cool. This is legit. Like, you did an amazing job, Satch. Honestly, like, I gotta give you a round of applause, man. This is so good.
Yay.
It was not easy getting here. Cruise
Oh
boost
yeah,
is a
there was a
mechanic
lot
that
of going back
requires
and
pretty much
forth. Yeah, but
everything
like
being perfect.
this is like kind of like a simple explanation why stuff like DCB works, you know, because you're getting displaced faster, so it gives you a faster cruise boost. It's a very simple way of even like teaching people how cruise boosting works. Honestly, like I would use this to teach somebody how to do it in the original game. That's how good it is.
Yeah, Satch, I give you the official free seal of swag.
Nice.
Yeah, this is great, man. As of right now, the only thing they're like obviously the animations, like once they're imported, they're gonna be fixed. There was something else I mentioned. Oh yeah, by the way, guys, he also implemented the tap jump to manipulate how high you go. So that's like another thing too. Like that's completely fixed.
That one was actually pretty easy. That's in default and real movement.
Oh really? That's all right. Perfect. that means it'll be easy for them to implement it too. And by the way, I did talk to Andrew from Purple Lamp, the CEO, and he to the stream because I know I told you guys already that I talked to him, and he's like super understanding of like what we
He
what we
gets
want.
the gamer struggle.
He gets the gamer struggle pretty much. Like he gets it,
I'm
and
sure.
like his ideas on like speed running, as we saw in his podcast. I almost said podcast. I literally just did actually, but sorry. I'm like trying to like focus on this movement. I'm just having so much fun with it. His like description of like his philosophy on game design in the THQ Nordic showcase, like it lines up, man. Like he's a super genuine guy, and he cares about the speedrunning community just as much as he cares about the casual community, and he wants to build a game that's fun for everybody. So just letting you guys know, like you're in good hands. If you were worried about that at all, Purple Lamp is the studio to make this game. In case you were at all worried about that, so just wanted to put that out there.
You know, Shift, I keep seeing you jump on that trampoline when you're in the cruise boost. Is it like the original game where if you slam on it, you get more height from it?
So like there are only some trampolines that do that in the original, not even all of them. It's weird.
It's not. It isn't all of them.
Yeah, it's
I
like
don't
only
think
some of
it'll do
them.
that.
But
You
yeah, this
slam
is
on the
like
glue, it kind of freaks out a little bit. I'll have to fix that.
Yeah, it's almost like it has the opposite effect with this one.
yeah.
Oh yeah, because your gravity is changed until you land, or until that animation finishes.
Oh, okay, that's pretty cool.
So I think I know it's not how the original does it, but I think just for the sake of putting the slam in as fast as I could, I set the gravity to be about 4 times the amount that it normally is when you're jumping around when you're slamming.
I'm trying to get a really fast one. Oh baby, here we go. Oh yeah, another thing that Satch did too is I know the last time you guys saw like you clip through walls when you're not moving, he fixed the collision as well. So
Oh yeah, that's some good stuff.
yep, this is it, boys. Just with some animation tweaks and what was the other thing I was talking about?
Oh, it's interesting that in cruise boost mode, if you try to activate the cruise bubble, it starts to launch it, but then it just instantly explodes. That makes sense.
That's because the auto cancel.
Right. Well, can you L clip?
Uh,
Because I see him shift forward.
I mean, I think there are a lot of places where we would just want to be able to find new shit. We don't have to, we don't have to make it exactly.
Man, it's the gamer way, dude. I have to see if these mechanics are.
I think that a lot of the fun of getting this new game is going to be trying the movement that we know and love in a new scenario where the other glitches don't exist. I can't wait to see like what we're going to be able to find with cruise boosting and the new stuff, you know? Like if there's like a different method for clipping that's like, you know, like cool in its own way, I'm game for that. There was one thing I wanted to mention, but I just can't. Oh yeah, it's the way the camera reacts when you're doing a normal cruise boost. That's what it is. I don't know, let me see if it's still in this version. I can't get a fast one. That's the thing. Is like, I think it might be like his sidestep speed. So his movement speed is like 700 at the base. I think this is like a calibration thing actually. So what kind of value would you have to manipulate, Satch, to have it so every time you do a cruise boost, like to the side like this, it gives you a, oh, I just got one actually. I mean, it technically should be possible, right? As long as you have the right angle, you can move as fast as you can when you're normally walking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just got it again, yeah.
This is kind of
Okay.
fun. You can
So-
manual cruise boost off the SpongeBob model. That's why the
That's definitely why I was confused as to like why the activation didn't feel good until now, because like I couldn't tell when I was getting it or not. It's even though it's still a familiar trick, it's like it feels different on this engine, and like I couldn't tell if I had it or not with my I guess the controller I'm using, or like the engine just feels different, something about it. But yeah, this debug mode is super helpful. This is honestly like, and you said that you haven't changed anything about the activation since the past few versions, have you?
No.
Yeah, so this was always fine actually, yeah. That's what, there
So
was
when
like
you
a
said to
disconnect there.
Discord that
Huh?
if the activation felt random, I started freaking out. Like no game developer ever wants to hear that their mechanic feels random, because that means your UX is something's gone horribly wrong.
Huh.
So I wonder if in Rehydrated, if they decide to add this in, there could be some sort of visual cue if you get cruise boosting or not. Like some kind of particle effect or
Oh,
something.
that'd be really cool. Like as like an Easter egg, yeah. That'd be really cool because it would make the game more accessible for runners. I'm really excited about this, man. You did an amazing job on this.
Yeah, it's really impressive.
Yeah.
Seriously. And just having this visual here with the vectors is really cool for even teaching people how to move with this effect as well. Like you can clearly see like what the analog movement is versus like where you're being pushed. Like this is how it feels to actually play this game. And once the animations are implemented, it's going to actually be flawless, I think. Minus like the extra stuff you can do with cruise boosting in the original game, like L clipping and like lag clipping and stuff like that. Like that's definitely like cool, but it's not necessary to capture what made this game special in the first place, you know. Like we didn't know about lag clipping until last year, you know.
I think that the game was extremely unique and like an entertaining speedrun way before any of those things that you mentioned were
Exactly.
in the game.
Exactly.
All this game really needed to get going was cruise boosting.
Exactly. That
So,
was the main thing
yeah.
that was the breakthrough trick that opened up speedrunning.
Yeah, exactly. Every game's got like that thing that makes it, you know, special and draws attention to it. Like Super Mario Sunshine, when Gelato Beach Skip was found, people went crazy about it. It was just so crazy that it actually worked. It's got that main draw. I think a lot of games like come down to like that main draw trick. Like obviously
Yes.
Super Mario 64 is like an amazing game without even using BLJ, but it still cracks
That's
the
so
game wide
well
open, and it allows for like several different categories, you know, because you can skip all the stargates.
Yeah, it was yeah, exactly. Like a lot of the earliest speedruns of the game were just trying like using that, you know, even 30 star and stuff.
Stash, did you have anything else you wanted to elaborate on with your design choices and like more technical stuff?
Nothing's coming to mind right now. Is there anything that's kind of confusing about like I guess, the process or like how certain things might work that may be unintuitive?
Honestly, not really. The only thing you mentioned though that I was kind of curious to hear more like elaborate explanation on is your choice to like your choice with like the what's it called? The stand, I guess, like the actionable standing frames when you're walking off a ledge, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah, so what I did for that was I actually forced SpongeBob for 6 frames to kind of float in the air. So he will go down for like part of the frame and then he'll kind of start walking. That's because since I'm restricting this project to just working with Unreal's default tools, I don't have a way to access the jump function, like how that works on a lower level. So I kind of did like this really horrible workaround where I just kind of tell SpongeBob, even though he's falling, no, no, you're not falling. You're still standing. If you try to jump, please jump. So
That's interesting. You pretty please?
Yeah, it's like you're just asking
please
him.
jump.
And you know that could be manipulated to have like, I guess like any number of frames you want, right? But you
Yeah,
went
it
with 6,
can.
right?
Though, if I increase it any more than it already is, it kind of gets really buggy. Like, you can try out a bug right now, actually. If you get a bubble bowl, stand on top of it, and then launch a cruise bubble from on top of the bubble bowl, when you cancel it, he'll be floating in the air because his that function that cancels him from standing, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Oh, that is extremely epic.
He'll just stand in the air until you move the analog stick. That's because
That's actually cool.
Oh,
It
I
won't
knew
actually
I knew
update.
DCB was in this.
This is like a nay jump, bull super jump.
The good old Nene. Hey Lois, look, SpongeBob's floating.
Ooh, just a classic.
So the ball does push you around.
Yes, it does.
So
It should work the same way because I'm following the same theory.
yeah, like
that
if it
the
if
original
it
has.
displaces you,
I see you're
Like-
trying. I see you're actually trying DCB now, aren't you?
I mean it should work in theory, right?
In theory, I mean, yeah. If it's
You
pushing
can activate cruise boost frames on the ground against like. I'm trying to get it to hit me. Come on, I want you to hit me. Hit me.
Oh. All right, Britney Spears.
Oh, it doesn't displace you. It bounces off your head.
Oh, so it's like a soccer ball.
Yeah, I mean,
Go.
that's fine.
It might displace you if I increase the weight or decrease the weight that SpongeBob.
I think like
at.
that's getting into the territory of like purposefully making the game buggy.
Yeah, that's.
That's exactly what Andrew said he didn't want. Like that shit's cool in our game, but I think the cruise. There's something about
I
cruise
see
boosting
what
where
you're saying.
I think that people who haven't played this game before might not even notice that it's like, you know, buggy itself. It doesn't look that buggy, I don't think, right? If you don't get the context of how it's activated, I guess.
I seriously don't see any reason why DCB should be introduced and rehydrated. That makes no sense. And if you feel that, then I'm sorry.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. What are your thoughts, Ringo? You've been playing this, right?
Yeah, I've been playing it. I think it's pretty good. I think if people were to use this as a learning resource to learn how to cruise boost and learn how to like move around with cruise boosting, my only critiques would be that when he slams, he like gains a lot of height, and you can like clear jumps, and like that is a little unlike the original, because in the original it just kind of like gives you a boost of momentum forward, but it didn't actually increase your vertical height. It's a really small, minor detail.
I think that's just because it's animation based, right? So if when Seal ports the animations, it should be the same, I suppose.
Yeah, it's the method I'm using to animate like the bash launch, for example, and the slam is really dependent on like how long the animation is, and it isn't like I like we discussed in the first Bobcast, it seemed like Purple Lamp was doing like a scripted movement for the bash. What I'm doing is I'm just kind of giving SpongeBob extra velocity and just having gravity kind of go on its own, which is why it feels more fluid.
Right.
So editing it is going to be a pain until we have the animations in.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess that'd just be like a version 5, which probably will be the final version. I mean, there's not much else to change. It feels good.
The spin is really solid, but it needs to be a little bit longer. But like the original, like what is here is good. I think
Yeah,
the
'cause
helmet,
the animations,
the helmet's pretty good. The bash, or is there any way you can add more lag to the slam?
Yeah, that's
What
like
do
an
you mean,
animation thing, because like he said
That's
that
yet again an
yeah,
animation
because
thing.
it lasts as long as the animation lasts. So when we
Alright.
port the animations from the original game, it'll therefore like
it'll
it'll
just
lag
correct
as much as it.
itself.
Yeah, exactly.
I see. I gotcha. All right.
There exist the model files for Downtown Bikini Bottom. Can you just like add? Can you
Just
that in
put
the
it in. Oh, that'd be so much
could.
fun.
I'll have to spend a few hours getting the scale right. This is a pain in the neck, but
I'm
after that-
gonna do a speed run and
An
do
hour.
a speed run of this. You know.
We can make our own games with this shit.
No, that wasn't the point of this, guys.
I'm saying like if they don't take it and it's like publicly available, you know, people can like use it to make their own shit if they wanted to.
SpongeBob SquarePants.
I didn't literally mean we're gonna fucking become game devs.
SpongeBob SquarePants open sourced pants.
Open source cruise boosting.
open pants.
Trying to get me banned.
Whoops.
No, as long as there's no underwear, it's okay. Something else I wanted to bring up. I can't remember what it was though. Yeah, but like this is really good because the cruise bubble like cancels in on itself now when you try to use it, just like the original. There's actually like, I think that's an animation thing. When Seal gets the animations for the cruise bubble, like it's still coming out in the original. Like this is still happening, but it's just that it's not like you can't see it because the animation's different. So when you're lag clipping, like I'm not saying lag clipping is going to be in this, but in the original, when you're mashing the L button to lag clip, this is happening, but you can't see it. So that's why it looks weird. But that's exactly like how it works, though, as far as we know. If we had the damn source code for this game, we would know for sure. But yeah,
I've been touting it for so long that if we had the source code, we'd be able to solve so many problems. Like we'd be able to solve so many mysteries. I don't know about I don't think the source code would help us find new mystery, like find things that we never noticed before, or at least anything as big as cruise boosting. But it will absolutely solve everything. We'd be able to figure out why all this stuff happens.
oh, okay, that's what it was.
Too.
The only thing that I think like could be added as like a mechanic to wait, can I sponge glide? No. That'd be hilarious.
Stuck.
All sponge gliding is, at least we think, is like if you get stuck and you don't land, you just don't move because your velocity stops, but you're still not landed, so you float. That'd be hilarious.
It was made in like 10 minutes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, sponge gliding is still a complete mystery of how I'd incorporate into this.
Now, what about ledge grabbing?
I think the sponge gliding is actually, yeah, I was gonna mention like that's actually what I was talking about before I started like going on the tangent, but yeah, ledge grabbing. That'd be the only thing really. That'd be the only mechanic that could probably be implemented to help. But
That would
like,
be nice.
I think that I think they'd be able to do that on their own. Like they already had kind of like a ledge grabbing mechanic they were working on. So I think like based on their level geometry and like how they want to do it, that'd be specific to them. But it'd be fun to toy around with. It would be fun to toy around with, but the extra effort might not be worth it.
If I have the animations, then it'll be a lot simpler, though it will still be a little difficult.
Yeah. Well, if that gets done tonight, then we'll have the next version. Maybe we could do like a little tiny brief session next week before we go on talking about the races and like what's going on with the speedrunning community for the original game, because there's going to be a big race day coming up on Friday. We're going to have a lot of races going on. It's going to be a good time. To get back to what I was saying before, I think that sponge gliding is an intrusive mechanic because it can get you stuck. Like anything that can soft lock the game, like sponge gliding. I mean, we've all been there.
Unintentionally ruin a casual experience. You know?
Yeah.
So
Like what other glitches in this game are not intrusive that won't ruin a casual experience? Like I guess like bull boosting out of a hand
I was
grab.
gonna say
Like,
that is literally exactly what I was thinking. Bull boosting out of a hand because like, yeah.
Even then, you can still get stuck in spots that soft lock. There's actually one in Jellyfish Fields. You can get stuck outside of the map if you do one, but like you also have to, press the B button, the exact frame that you respawn. The one right here actually you can get out of bounds with it, where the checkpoint right here in the original. Wait, I just did something. That was weird.
Oh, you killed your cruise boost.
Yeah, I don't know what I did.
I did that too. Like half of his cruise boost just disappeared. It Houdini'd. Houdini.
I think it's this button. I pressed the L1 button. It killed it.
Oh yeah, that's the debug cruise boost button. And if you're not standing next to a wall, it gets clamped down to 75. I'm gonna remove that, obviously. That was just for me.
Oh, okay.
Cruise
so
boost.
It takes whatever. What is the function that it just like gives you a set speed of 75?
So the way I incorporated collision for the wall, because I didn't know why the original would kind of prefer flat surfaces when you were actually like as opposed to actually bowling.
I really wish we knew. that would seriously break the game if we knew.
Yeah, what I did was I kind of hacked it together, so I just have SpongeBob detect if a wall's in front of him, and if you just press L1, if you're not standing next to a wall, it'll just make the speed slower.
Huh. But yeah, guys, like as I was saying the last time, like the when I brought up the moonwalking in the original, like you can now see like it works, and also the inputs that are required to moonwalk. It's just if you it's hard to tell unless you're playing or if you try it yourself, but like a lot goes into stuff like that. Like the blue vector, if you didn't know before, if you just got here, is my movement, and you gotta like just kind of do this to get the moonwalk, and you can see the cruise boost is pushing me in the opposite direction.
One thing I think is probably often overlooked, unless you actually try to remake SpongeBob, is when you walk on the ground, SpongeBob always tries to walk forward, so the orange vector pretty much. And whenever you're in the air, it just follows your control stick. So even though the rotation speed is sped up by a lot when you're in the air, it also just kind of ignores SpongeBob's rotation when calculating what direction he should walk.
And
I think that's the same thing for Patrick's throw.
That actually is like one thing that felt weird. I think it's like maybe, I suppose this can be worked around, but maybe it's the controller. It feels like it's harder to like turn. I guess that's like that might be tiptoeing. Maybe you have like more control over which way you're facing if you're tiptoeing. That might be part of it. It's like the game's turning speed. You know what it actually might be is that the turning speed is more sensitive when you're slowly edging the control stick outside the dead zone. Like that area, that little small area right outside the dead zone.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the only thing that, other than the animation stuff, is like if you put it like right outside, like actually he's doing it now. It's so weird. I mean, it is implemented. Actually, you know what it is? It's this. The pivoting kind of like does the thing where it turns you around. I don't know if there'd be a fix for this without doing some dumb shit, but there's like a threshold where if you turn around this way, he doesn't pivot off his nose or where, like the front spot of him. Like this only happens when you're walking at full speed. Let me actually pull up the actual game for a second. Okay, so you can see here. If I just kind of when I'm doing this, like the same thing happens, yeah. But wait, what is this? I think this controller's old, but if I just like barely put my control stick like this way, he'll like very slightly turn.
I wish you had the vectors in this version now so I could see what you're doing.
I think this is actually just showing how broken my controller is.
Yeah, I thought I noticed that, and I might have done something similar where there is a dead zone.
Oh, you know what? It's boot physics. I think so. Yeah. So if I do this, see how he turns like that? There's like a very small area where you can turn him like without being like flipped around. Like that. I think, oh, you know what it is? It's also, it is tiptoeing. Because there's like a tiptoeing phase before he runs where the face, like this turning stuff doesn't apply. That'd be the tiptoeing mechanic. Okay, so that actually would be a thing that, like, if it's possible to be implemented in version 5, tiptoe mechanics, where there's like a small, like, area where before, like, you run in a full sprint, where you can tiptoe, and that gives you more control over which way you're moving. Like, you can go up and down like this, as opposed to like this.
Okay.
The turn in place threshold is divine. Okay, so we can actually get that then. Cool. Sky is saying that the turn in place threshold is defined, so that could be easily implemented.
Okay.
This
Well,
is
I don't know
version
about
4,
easily,
yeah.
But
Oh, I meant like communicating, like, yeah. You know what I mean, yeah.
no, I'm kidding. I'm surprised how clean the code is still, because there's so many things interacting with each other at one time that everything had to be like pretty precisely implemented.
Oh, you mean the code for the simulator?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just like tiptoeing, and I don't know. If you want to implement ledge grabbing, that'd be cool, but I feel like it's not necessary for this.
I'll do it maybe after the documentation, because that needs to have priority.
Yeah, priorities. I think, yeah, just tiptoeing and animations. That's really it. Do you guys have anything else?
Not really. I really like this a lot. This whole thing in general is so
is the
good.
water going? Are you ever going to make the water lethal?
Probably not. I just used it for testing soft locks, and I didn't even implement it on all of them.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessary because like dying in the demo really just respawns you.
Yeah,
Think about it.
That's pretty pointless.
There's no hands mechanics or anything that we
Oh, you know what
really
would be
need
cool?
that to
If
be
you added
present.
like a frame where you can jump out of this.
Oh, that would actually be. Wait, actually, I would actually appreciate that. I'm not.
Yeah, like a frame where you can bash or like jump out of it.
Just for fun. Just for fun.
It'd be the same hackery as the ledge mechanic right now, because I'm basically trying to simulate how a animation state machine works without actually giving it priority over his movement. I could, but if he ends up floating in the air after a goo jump, then I'm gonna take it out.
I think it just tracks like, I don't know. I'm obviously not a game developer, but like if you just make it like when you hit that one frame jump, it stops tracking your vertical velocity and it only tracks your horizontal velocity, like your X and Y. I mean your X and Z. Could that be implemented that way, or is that?
Wait, say that again?
So like when you said like the problem might be like floating in air after that happens. But like what if you had like some kind of like a cue like on the frame when you press A or Y, where once you hit that frame, it stops tracking the damage boost's vertical velocity and it gets overwritten by the jump's vertical velocity, but you keep your horizontal velocity.
That could work, though. The problem is, and it's the same thing for ledge jumping, is that the rules for jumping Unreal Engine has say that you have to be on the ground in order to jump.
Huh.
Unlike RenderWare, where it's just if you're in a walking animation, you can jump regardless of what you're doing.
I like the latter better because
Poor man.
It's so hacky. That's not how games are programmed anymore.
No, it's how it should be.
Why would you do that?
How it should be. How it was once, how it should be.
It's how it should be.
This poor man brings you this game, and this is what you request.
Yeah, it's how it should be. It's how it
Hey,
should be for
Thatch.
all games in general.
Hey, Sash, can you do us a favor and just put Squidward in this fucking game already? Thanks.
Where's
Well,
Clancy
2 days.
Brown?
I want John Wick
I
now.
want
I'm kind
him.
of disappointed with this one because there's no Joe Swanson.
Can you add a power up where it's just like a bag of fentanyl, and if you take it, you get like supercharged speed?
I think the damage boosting in this would be so sick. I think you know what? I would actually say that cruise boosting and damage boosting are what made this game speedrunnable. Because if it weren't for damage boosting, you wouldn't be able to skip all those big ass gaps. But like, that's the thing. Like things like the Dreamscape, are we ever gonna find a way to skip that without damage boosting? You'd have to use cruise boosting for that. Just like stuff like that. It's like, you don't know, man. It makes it feel so smooth when you can damage boost as well. Like, is that... I feel like those are like the two key things. Like, even you can get rid of even like hand boosting. But, hand boosting, hand disabling, I meant to say. See, it would be interesting for routing, but like, would it be? Because you're skipping paying clams with that, you know? It's just like one of those miracle things. Like, if these two things didn't exist, this game would not be speedrunnable. It'd be a straight collectathon. But, you know, like, I guess like the compromise is like we said, we just want to be able to cruise boost. I don't think that damage boosting breaks the game, but I guess that is the other one that doesn't break the game, but you know, it doesn't look bad, but it actually is kind of stupid the way it works.
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess like, but I guess like the way you program the ledges are kind of similar, right? Because you're not on the ground when you jump like this, but you have like the frame allowance. You said you overrided it.
Yeah, I basically forced SpongeBob to walk on the air, which isn't very good. I want to change that as soon as I can.
Okay. I don't know. It feels like, I guess I wouldn't know because I haven't played a lot of newer games, but I don't know. I guess like if you like Ringo and Freeze, if you've played any newer games, like is this really like a thing that like older games really only have, where you can like walk off a ledge and kind of like, what do they call it, like coyote jumping or whatever people said it was?
I'm trying to think of like an example where I've seen it elsewhere, but I don't really.
I guess it really is.
I haven't
just
really
dated.
played a lot of games that are like this. Yeah.
Most recent platformer I played was Hat in Time, and same shit. Pretty much no, like the second you were off the ledge, like you could.
That's the thing that I don't even think makes it like better or worse. Really, I think it's just like a neutral thing. Because the platform is the platform. Whether the part you jump on is invisible or not isn't really like, you know, you have more room to jump, but it's not like it's, you know, game ruining if it's just different.
Yeah, no, it's not exactly. It's just a neutral change.
Yeah, it is a shame though that like this kind of does rule out the possibility of having
it is how it should be, but
yeah, non hard coded damage boosts.
In TSSM, it's actually even more ridiculous in battle. You can hang.
Oh,
on
yeah.
for so long.
You know,
in that
they
game.
actually looked into that. For like did frame advance on it, and he found that in battle it's 15 frames of walking off the ledge, which is again a quarter of a second. But in movie, it's fucking 30 frames of walking off the ledge. You have half a second to jump, half a fucking second to jump before.
Actually, in Sun, wait, if it's 30 frames and it's some of the levels in the game are 30 FPS.
Well, then it would just be 15 frames.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's not like literally coded that way, but like.
Yeah.
With task
That's
tools,
how long
like,
it takes.
wait, it's 45 frames? 4 said it was 30 frames. Is it really 45?
Ow!
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, 75% of the second you actually had the jump. Dude, it almost seems like they tuned that up. I really want to see how this game was coded, or at least know how it was coded, because it's just kind of funny that they just changed. It's almost like they changed the value. They're just like, let's give them more time to jump when they walk off a ledge.
The
I wonder
game
if
was for,
so weird.
you know, for kids. So maybe it's like, oh, make the timing of the jump easier because too many kids are walking off the ledge. You know, they just can't press the button fast enough. We gotta make it easier for them. That's what they thought. Sorry.
Yeah, so I guess like when you do the write up setch, if you don't want to leave in like the ledge jumping stuff, would you consider just like leaving it as like an option or like having a previous build available to show them?
I'll
like
keep this version in for sure. Like the 6 frames, I think that's fine. It's just when I boost it to 15, you can tell that he's floating, and I think it looks really bad. So I can
Yeah.
show you how to increase it if you're there. You can just
Okay.
increase it.
Yeah, you can just like leave the documentation for that. I guess like see, like, cause you want it to be like implemented, right? I guess like a version with the thing and the ability to tune it, and a version without it. But with the version with it, how difficult would it be to add like that 1 frame where you can like jump or do like a ground move?
Oh, for goo?
Yeah.
I'll see how it reacts if I just do the same thing, but right after a.
Yeah, like
after
as the
some-
animation ends, like the frame after.
Great Barrier Reef!
Yeah, I could try that. There are a few ways I can go about it. I'll see which one is the least broken.
I mean, at this point, it is like getting into the territory of intentionally making the game glitchy. I think that cruise boosting kind of dances on that line without going over it. But I'm just curious to see how damage boosting would feel in this. I probably would not pitch damage boosting to them immediately though, because it is really, really fun, but I don't know. It's more of like how it makes the game feel. It makes the game feel smoother, like how you get thrown around, and you can just manipulate the way you get thrown. There's so many games with like lame damage boosting where it's kind of like you get sent in your path and it's just scripted, you know. But in this game, you just have so much control over where you go after you get hit. So I guess like the few things that we talked about are like Seal's working on the animations, then I guess the tiptoe mechanic, and finally damage boosting. I guess in like the 1 version that has the weird in like jumping in midair, and then there'll be a version that doesn't have it. And I guess maybe next week we can do like a little group up again, or maybe a couple of weeks from now before I leave. Well, actually, yeah, 2 weeks from today, I'll actually be on the plane, so I guess it would be next.
Sweet podcast on the plane.
we can do like
Yo,
Sunday.
guys, here I am flying live. The Bobcast in the air.
Let's do it in the terminal.
Hey, you can pay like $10 for like a whole flight Wi-Fi.
As far as this game's movement goes, like what makes it this game, I think, are just the damage boosting and cruise boosting. Like the stuff that was found later is cool, and it definitely makes the run better, I'd say. But we don't want it to be the same run. Like at that point, it's getting to the point where it's the same run, and that's just like not. I think that damage boosting does a lot of good things for the run though. Like it eliminates a lot of the grinding that you'd have to do. Otherwise, like imagine any percent but having to buy the clams to get to the end of the dream. It's just, stuff like that is just kind of awful. But again, like just cause the mechanic exists doesn't mean that you'll be able to use it to skip stuff like that either. I think just like suggest, like leaving it on the table, like, hey, this exists. It can exist. Would you be interested in implementing it? It's a lot of fun to do.
Wait, say that again?
I was saying like I'm saying like the idea that I'm just like reiterating to the audience, like it's more of a suggestion, like it's possible, it's fun to do. You know, it can be implemented if you choose to do it. So I think just having that option, like if they're okay with cruise boosting, like that's obviously like the main goal here. But if they also think that like damage boosting is okay too, then so be it. That's like a double win. Those are really the only things that I think like really should be implemented to make it feel like the original. As far as like glitches go, I don't know. Ringo, you got any other like takes on that? I feel like that's really it.
I think we've pretty much covered most of the details that really caught my attention. It's really I'm really impressed with the bubble bowl, especially. It felt perfect. I think that was the best designed mechanic in the simulation by far. Uh, it's just like the speed that you get when you hold on to it feels like very, very similar to
Yeah.
the real game.
It's extremely accurate.
It feels like you can really aim where you have like a lot of control over where you aim, just like the original, you know, which would be why they implemented it that way in the first place.
Yeah, it's just really intuitive. I like how literally everything is solid now in this, so it's just like all those like background rocks are actually solid, so it's just fun to jump around. And I don't know. I like it, and I think it should be like a public tool. We should probably put on like the speedrun.com.
I'd say like for now, like if
resources.
Purple Lamp would consider using it, we should probably keep it like not like private, but
You mean private?
Not public.
no, I said
Not
I said
public.
private.
You said not like private.
I stuttered. No, I didn't mean to, yeah.
Okay, that led me to
Yeah.
believe that you meant not private, but okay, yeah.
All right, well that makes sense.
Yeah, I think we should keep it private. Just because if they end up using it, like the
Don't want
game's
those trade
like part of the
secrets.
game's like actually just out.
Yeah,
So-
it's already kind of a legal quagmire to use a fan's code in a professional game with contracts and all that other stuff, so I wouldn't want to push anything more.
Yeah, I think even just like demonstrating how it's done, just to show that it is possible. If they make their own code, like
And
at
then
least
can
they
find ours.
know it's implementable.
Yeah, it's not impossible.
Yeah, that was
A
the whole
working
point of this
prototype is
anyway.
miles better than a concept.
See, like with the fan remake, this is the thing. Like they should have done this first before they started working on like the graphics and like the models and stuff. Like if the fan remake started with this and really sold everybody on like how the movement feels, and then they started
There would've
working
been
on the
so much more support.
yeah,
behind it.
exactly. But like, cause like when
Yeah.
you watch it, like the way the movement feels, just it looks like a clunky fan game, which is kind of
Yeah.
the impression that people got when they watched the first pre-alpha release of Rehydrated 2, because like they were obviously on a crunch for time and they were trying to get something to show for it. And of course, like the first thing people are looking for is like remaster has to look good, so they want it to look graphically impressive, but. Like obviously, like the super fans and
Yes.
people who are like more like hardcore gamers saw the movement and they were like, "Oh boy." But yeah, like I doubt they're not gonna like that. It's gonna get improved for sure. Like they definitely are not gonna sleep on that. I really just believe that the Rehydrated crew, they had to get something to show that looked presentable. So the movement comes later. I mean, I would almost like assume like that was probably the first thing they went to work on as soon as they got back. You know, I feel like that'd be the first thing they do because they definitely know what they're doing based on the way they were explaining their philosophies and stuff. Like I think they really do have a good idea of how
They're
to make this
emphasizing
game.
the fact that they're in touch with the people who are interested in playing, and that's something that's definitely not going unappreciated here.
Yeah, for sure.
We got lucked out. We lucked out. We say it like every time, but
We really
it's
did luck
very
out.
true.
It's crazy how lucky we've gotten with this game so many times, dude.
Yeah, just repeatedly.
Even
And
just
who
like the
knows-
game
who-
itself. The fact that
who
like
knows?
you're saying.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say like the fact that like even like SBA exists to allow 100% in this like grindy collectathon game could even be made into like a non-stop non-stop action speed run that could even be like considered for like a racing tournament, like 100% tournament in 2019. It's just so weird to think about.
Yeah, it really is because back when 100% was a very obscure category that only had a few runners. Honestly, it was like barely under 2 hours, the world record. Everyone was just like, man, this category really sucks. So like But like we theorized, like how great would it be to just be able to like obtain like all the shinies just like really fast and not have to grind? It would be so much better.
We literally
when it
said
actually
like
happens-
skee ball machine abuse, but then it became real. Like
Yeah, like the exact thing we were just like talking about actually managed to become true, and it was the prophecy, and
The prophecy.
it really just goes back to like anything
is
you
the chosen
imagine.
one.
Anything you imagine in the original game is probably possible. We just haven't found it yet. And I'm happy that the new one is, like, obviously it's being made on a much more stable and updated engine, so we're not going to have crazy stuff like that. But I am excited that, like, I do not think that any percent's going to get to the point in that game where it becomes a pain in the ass to play. Or, like, a boring, like, draw a straight line each objective, bare bones kind of crap.
well, I would be surprised.
I don't think it will, or at least if it does, it's not going to happen for a very long time. Like with
And if
this
it
game,
does, it's going to be in a completely different way, which I'm kind of here for, you know?
yeah, exactly.
if
Like
it-
I want to see how its own story develops.
Yeah, exactly.
I can tell you this though, 100% is not going to be a popular category in this game. It's going to go right back to being obscure. 100% is going to be the popular one for the original, and any percent is going to be for the rehydrated. And I think people are gonna, like that's like, again, like it, as you were saying, like we want the games to be different, so there's a reason to play both. I think that's just like really sells it right there. Is that we're literally playing two different categories like as the main category because they're just such different games.
Well, it's even though it's a remaster, we don't necessarily need it to be the same game because we already have the old game. It's not
Exactly.
going anywhere.
Yeah.
All we can ask for is something. Like the reason we're asking for cruise boosting is because it's pretty much pivotal to it is like pivotal to the enjoyment of this game.
I think that like that's definitely 100% accurate. I think that like even like it can be debated that damage boosting is pivotal. I'm not sure like if they buy it or if they'd be willing to implement it, but cruise boosting absolutely, you're right, is critical, super important.
Like L clips and all those other things, they're nice, but like we don't need them in this game. We can find what's most likely going to happen is we're going to find
Clips exist in
completely
like
new-
every game.
yeah. It's gonna be its own. It's gonna be its own run, which is fucking awesome, because it's like a completely new way to look at
That
the
was so
game.
sick.
Yeah, I just saw that.
This gotta okay. That's I mean like this is not even important now, but like yeah. But
Yeah, there's no
there'd
limit.
definitely be a way to be able to tell how long you can jump before you drown. But obviously drowning is not a thing in this, so I'm like I get it's like I'm so immersed in this. I keep forgetting I'm playing a simulator. Just feels weird when stuff like that happens.
Got confused.
Bit confused. Yeah, this is great. Yeah, this game is definitely gonna have its own story. I think that all level spatulas is gonna be like the new 100% to an extent, because like obviously there are some spatulas that suck in the original if you don't do them with glitches. Like Drain the Lake is awful, and then you got like Ballroom, the classic, stupid segment.
Oh, actually, maybe one of the best levels of all time. Yeah, we actually did that. Consider that.
We did that 90%.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Maybe consider one of the best levels of all time.
Yeah, 30 minutes into your any percent speed run, trying to get a 102, you would just fucking stop everything and do a 1.5-minute long mini game for one spatula.
It's really stuff like that. And even just things we took for granted because by the time we got into the game, they already found them. Prawn skip, Dutchman skip. Those things are going to be in 100%. Like, without those skips, they're going to be here. They're going to be here.
You're gonna have to fight your boss for real this time.
Really going to have to
Yeah.
fight our boss.
Yeah.
Oh, and Robo Sponge too.
I think that
Ooh,
Robo
yeah.
Sponge without glitches is actually sick as fuck, though.
Yeah.
That's actually the one that I think is better. The rest of them are auto scrollers, but RoboSponge is the only boss in the game where you can beat it as it's off a cycle. You can beat it as fast as possible. You just have to hit all the buttons. That's it. It's the best designed boss in the entire game. So even without a skip for that, I'm excited to see RoboSponge strats for the remake. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be cooler than the original actually in that regard. But yeah, I can't wait to do 100% runs fighting the Dutchman. It's gonna be really awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
That's the thing is like I was saying before is that
but-
it's gonna be even stuff like that. Just not having Dutchman skip is gonna be such a big difference because, you know, Prawn and Dutchman, if they're too slow, I think Prawn will be fast enough if it's the same as the original, but Dutchman absolutely not for an 80% run if you can't skip it. That's not happening. You're gonna have to find other spatulas, which makes the route different, which makes the spatulas you collect like in what order, the taxi pads, just changes the whole thing. I mean, we've seen this happen many times where like one spatula just changes the whole run. With Ballroom, it's changed everything.
You shift one thing before industrial, and then
Yeah.
a bunch of things. Yeah, it's
And that's why SBA was such a big change because you weren't just shifting one thing, which would already
there are now
cause enough
3
problems.
phases of the games.
Now you're shifting 8 things into one segment. You're adding 7 spatulas into the game, and you're also taking one of them and putting it earlier. So it's just 8 extra spatulas. It's an entire level's worth of spatulas. An entire level's worth of spatulas before Industrial Park. So that lets you skip downtown and all that stuff. But things like that, like just by SBA not existing in Rehydrated, it's guaranteed to be a different run. Like it's not going to be the same at all. Cruise boosting is just one
I
piece
think
of the
that's for
puzzle.
the better though.
Oh yeah,
The
of course.
thing about the game is like the base levels the base level design of this game is really good. So it's like, you know, not a problem at all.
I'm excited to run through Jellyfish Fields with cruise boosting, like the whole thing.
Yeah. How about okay, imagine like online or maybe not even online. I know there was a multiplayer mechanic in this game that is going to happen. Imagine real time like racing in the levels of cruise boosting.
Yeah, like actual servers.
Yeah,
that shit's so expensive.
Damn.
But that'd be
I mean,
cool.
that's just fantasizing, but that would actually be like that'd be sick.
That'd be crazy, yeah.
I just want a battle royale mode.
Yeah, PvP.
Horde mode. Horde mode with cruise boosting can actually be sick. I think that I was talking about this earlier, I think, on one of my streams, that Horde mode with cruise boosting would actually be really, really cool because you can't use the bubble ball or the cruise bubble while you're cruise boosting. And it would solely be used as like a get off me mechanic where if you can cruise boost, you can run away from the mobs like way faster. And
Yeah, that's only applicable to SpongeBob though, so he'd be OP compared to the other characters.
yeah, but like not necessarily though, because you know like Patrick has like the stunning attack. Sandy kind of sucks compared to SpongeBob with cruise boosting, I guess, because her thing is like clearing gaps. But there is like a balance. There is a balance that goes on there. With
SpongeBob has raw speed.
You can't really just like. You can't do that great of combat with cruise boosting. As I was saying, like in the Tree Dome and the actual run in Krusty Krab, we don't even do cruise boosting in those levels. Even if we have it available to us like an NG+, it's just faster not to because you can't turn as fast and you got to use your other powers. That'd be interesting. Like, how would they address cruise boosting in an online setting for like Horde mode? Would they allow it? Would they not allow it? They could just easily just not allow it, honestly.
Would the latency fuck up your inputs to the point where it wasn't viable anyway?
True. But if it's being added as an Easter egg, they could easily just say like, yeah, we're not putting this in for the Horde mode. They could just be like, yeah, it's in the campaign.
It's only in the single player campaign.
But that would be so much fun using cruise boosting in Horde mode. Like online, I mean that's exactly what you're saying is like online servers with like co-op cruise boosting.
Yeah, that would actually be fucking amazing. Are you kidding me?
I'm
It'd
kind
just
of
be
tempted
like
to see how it would look, like because I
Yeah,
could
I'd
just
like to know.
add a second viewport in Unreal and with 2 different players. I wonder if it replicates correctly with cruise boosting.
Can you get like a Patrick Star model? Yeah.
I got a server for my Minecraft shit. Just fucking add a port for BFB.
It would be kind of funny from a design perspective to see like if you were to give the other characters something similar to cruise boosting.
We've done that
What that would
with
be.
memory values actually in the original game. You can edit memory values in emulators to see how it would feel. And Sandy with cruise boosting is pretty dumb. Actually, when you use the hovering mechanic, it completely negates her cruise boost speed. 'Cause it's got like its own like value, I guess. It's weird. But yeah, I think that's the only thing that would really cause like some kind of a question about design is like I think cruise boosting itself is not harmful, but in horde mode, if there's a leaderboard, I mean that could be something that could be a problem. I think that if there's a leaderboard for like a horde mode type thing, they should probably just not have it for just the horde mode.
Because at that point you're exploiting it against other players who like aren't gonna either want to or know how to do it. And
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That would kill the leaderboards. But to be fair, if you think about here we go again talking about Call of Duty. If you think about the zombies leaderboards, people used exploits all the time for those as well, and leaderboards
Great
never got
Barrier
reset.
Reef!
They got ruined, but they still
Yeah,
exist.
but
I think
Is
those things got
Nobody's
patched though, didn't they?
That's
They
not
would-
really a
things
good
would get
example
patched.
to
Yeah, but like so in
that's not
that
a good
case, like they're
example
putting
to live from that.
if they eventually patched it, like it's different because they're implementing it from the get-go. They know it exists. You know, I
Right.
think that like if cruise boosting isn't explained, which it shouldn't be in a competitive leaderboard setting unless it's like with speedrunning where you're opting into it.
Yeah. Now, if there's no leaderboards, then I don't see any reason why it'd be a problem.
Yeah, if there is a leaderboard though, then it would be.
Could
a
be like
problem,
a
yeah.
Steam achievement or something to get, past wave 30 or something like that.
Yeah, that's just single player stuff, so I don't really see a problem with that either.
Yeah.
Get a cruise boost and then you get an achievement. How about that? All you have to do is do it one time.
It detects your speed.
Make the cruise boost a secret achievement.
Get a full speed cruise boost.
Yeah.
That would really be interesting because then you get all the achievement hunters who would go in and be like, "Well, what's the secret achievement?" It's like do a
That'd be
cruise
so
boost. They'd be like,
cool.
They'd be like, "What the fuck's a cruise boost?" They
Just
start looking it
introduce
up, and
everybody to
they get-
speedrunning
yeah.
as a secret achievement. Yeah,
Yeah, that would be interesting.
that'd be like honestly one of the coolest things a game developer could do is just like a nod like that to the original community. If they were to
would
implement
cry.
it.
Yeah. That
Yeah, because anyone who's curious would look it up, and then they would find the speedrun for the original and the new game, and they'd be like, "Wow!" And then the speedrun community would probably grow.
Yeah, that'd
'Cause
be
'cause
awesome.
in order to do the achievement, you'd have to do a cruise boost, so that's like the first step.
All the normie gaming channels covering that. Like how to
What
cruise
is
boost.
a cruise boost?
How do you cruise boost? Hey guys, welcome back, guys. I'm gonna teach you guys how to get the secret achievement in Battle for Bikini Bottom.
So a lot of you achievement hunters out there are probably wondering the same question. What the heck is a cruise boost? Here I am to explain the details. and you check the time and it's 10 minutes, 1 second long.
Yeah, it's got like that. And I just want to shout out to my sponsor today, Rage. You've probably seen that video of that guy talking to a skeleton in an interview.
Oh. Now before I start out here, I just want to give a shout out to my Patreons.
But wait, before you start watching, join my Discord server. Just join it.
Just join it. We're out here. We have Wacky Wednesdays. Make sure to hop in. It's a lot of fun.
Wacky Wednesdays.
Oh, that's what it's called, Raid. That's the one. It's called Raid. Oh my god.
This video is sponsored by SquarePants.
This video.
And you can get audiobook.
Yeah. Oh.
You can get an audiobook. Audible.com. Use a
This
special
video-
code CB
this-
for
This video is sponsored by Nickelodeon. Yeah. Nickelodeon sponsors this video.
So the thing is, like, DCB can technically exist in this game, like a not like a displacement type cruise boost, if it can be found. And like obviously, like if they implement it this way, you know, like, that'd be really exciting. This really like this the way this is coded is it can totally be like open ended to stuff like that being found.
I really can't wait to speedrun the Battle for Bikini Bottom rehydrated movement demo.
That's what I'm gonna
showcase.
do after that's what I'm gonna do after this podcast. I'm gonna make a video. Unbeatable time. I've got the route in my head.
I'll add a little flagpole at the end and a timer on the screen.
Yes, thank God.
Sweet. All right. Thank God. We needed that. We needed to include. We need to nod to the speedrunners who want to speedrun this game.
Yeah, this is really cool.
Yeah, I got 5 already. So.
Well, anyway, I guess like we'll talk in the Discord server about like what we the three or so things that we talked about being changed, and they're all like some of them are small, obviously, others are big, but yeah, we're pretty much almost done. Like this is almost ready to show them. I'm really excited about it. And again, Satch, this is amazing. You did a fantastic job on this, and I know like we said it many times, but this is like so cool that you were able to figure this out, man. Major props to you.
Are you guys most excited for in BFB Rehydrated?
I just want Squidward, man.
I can't stand when people unironically say they want Squidward to be playable in this game. Like,
just give me the squid.
Have they read any of the dialogue? He's just so disinterested in the whole thing. That's just why it's so funny. Like his character is just, he does not want to be here for any of it.
But that is
what's going to motivate him to, like, it's
it
like a
give
redemption
a dynamic
arc.
to his character.
Yeah, it's like a redemption arc. It's like an anime character.
No.
You know? He's like an anime
I guess
character.
I can fight. Yeah, it's just beautiful character development.
They're just making a new game at this point. I was saying it'd be really cool if they like if this game is after this game is successful, if they decide to make like a sequel to Lights Camera Pants with like online mode and better mini games, that'd be awesome. I think that game had so much potential, and THQ also published it too, so they have the rights to it. The concept Lights Camera Pants.
Hayward Squidward dating simulator you can unlock by beating Robert Squidward 20 times. Yeah. That would be the ultimate achievement. Actually.
You know what? No, I said I wanted Squidward, but honestly, if we're gonna put Squidward in the game, the only version of him that I want is the one where he's in the electric chair, all wrapped up in the bandages, and I want it cruise boosting speed with it.
Wait, the electric chair? Wait, which one's that?
Oh wait, yeah, like the wheelchair from the jellyfishing episode.
Oh, you said electric chair. I'm like, wait,
yeah,
what?
Yeah.
Wait, how did I just realize that the bandages on his nose is a reference to the episode when he's in the bandages? You know, like in the beginning of the jellyfish field, he has a bandage on his nose. There are a lot of small things like that. Like in the movie game, the upgraded bash is a reference to the I'm Your Biggest Fanatic episode.
Kevin,
Do you want it to hurt, Kevin?
Yeah, he busted, and he has the boxing glove as well right before.
Yeah, you're right, actually. Yeah, I like that.
They put it in, and they didn't even have to, really. No one would have cared if they didn't.
I think that the Viking helmet is a reference to his costume for the Leif Erikson Day thing.
Possibly.
I wonder if they'd add more costumes to this game, similar to how Movie had a bunch of them.
This game came out after Doodle Bob was released, right?
I mean, it's 2019.
I mean, 2003.
Yeah, it was like late season 2.
Yeah, I think it was actually
that
out.
That would be sick.
Oh no, I was leading on talking about the bowling gag when Patrick's head turns to the pin. Yeah, it's like I'd love to ask them where their inspiration came for all these things. I think the cruise bubble being a submarine is like perfect. I mean, it's like a torpedo, not a submarine. My bad.
I just want to know what the inspiration was for somebody to take a shit and just think that was good enough for a texture.
Right. I love how
Guys,
like
okay.
it's
We
the
need a
texture is
texture
literal
in
shit.
2 hours.
I love how the texture is
like-
literal shit, and it still looks
Just-
better than the tree textures in Sword and Shield.
Like, please, somebody explain to me just how this happened. How many people did this get through? Who did it? Was it a joke? Did they like do it and think that they could get away with it, sort of deal? Or was it like a dare? Like, I want to. There's a story. There has to be a story to this. Nobody just took a shit and put it in the game. There had to have been a story behind this.
They want me to show the tree texture.
We got to show it.
Yeah.
The people want. The people want it.
Yeah, so we needed a tree texture, and it was due in 2 hours, and we completely forgot to make one. So, yeah.
This is it. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell, but yeah.
Like we're not saying like, oh, it looks like shit. It actually is shit.
It literally is shit. It's
like-
a lot more
this isn't
obvious.
tricks.
It's a lot more obvious with the
toilet paper.
bigger trees, because those ones like the geometry is kind of messed up, so it's hard to tell. It's like very obvious with the bigger trees.
So did the robots take a shit on all the trees? Is that what happened?
I mean, there is toilet paper hanging from them. That was one of those things we were talking about. Is like, do people even TP anymore? Would kids get that joke nowadays in 2019? That like it's like a prank. The robots are like being kids and like TPing the trees. Yeah, this is the tree texture that we're talking about. It's a lot more obvious here. That is a person's shit.
They tried to cover it up with some fucking urchins.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
You can kind of see it caking. Like it's legit. Like I just, oh god.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. The guy said that like they needed a texture for the tree, and they ended up using this one.
This is just what happened.
They're like, we need a texture for the tree, and he's just like, yep, this works. This is the texture that I need, so they used it. And it's just like, God, I love this game. I really do love this game. I'm looking at a human piece of shit right now.
Made in 2002.
Yeah, when did he take this shit? I want to know when this shit was conceived.
I'm just imagining the original photo probably has like the fucking yellow date text on the corner of it.
Ah, yeah, like from back in the day.
Please, Purple Amp. No cruise boost. I just want to see one of your
someone
employees
to take a shit.
fecal matter.
We need someone to take a shit and use it as a texture in the game.
Anybody from Purple Amp,
Just
please.
like
it could be
use-
anybody. It could be a dev. It could be the fucking accountant. I don't know. It could be the fucking.
Just use someone's pee as the goo and just like color it blue.
Oh, change the tint.
Yeah. Just something.
like
Something
foam.
to show you really care about the fans. Nah, but seriously, like, that's so nasty. That's something that I just didn't need to know, but we know it now.
But here we are.
I've never even been out here in the actual game. I've been out here.
Because it's. Can you?
I don't know if it's solid or not back here. Maybe it's not.
Wait, is goo here? This is a random place for goo.
Yeah, it just like wraps around. Wait, actually, yeah, what the hell? Maybe they just they had it here for copy and pasting. Also, we're like, yeah. I guess we can like talk to the chat now. Let me pull up the chat. Do you guys have any questions about, what you saw here?
Shift
today?
is going to Purple Lamp in 2 weeks. I believe that is the
2 weeks from
20th.
today, actually. Yeah, you're right.
and then he'll be back on the 25th.
Do you know what a JPEG is?
You think I know what a JPEG is?
I just want a grill, for God's sake. I mean, THQ Nordic is subscribed to my YouTube channel, so they'll probably see this. So if you guys have any questions, you know, they might see that you have like a concern or two. I don't know. Could you import the canyons and mesas? I mean, like, we don't want to make Satch do like a lot of shit, unless it's like easy, you know.
I am interested in seeing downtown Bikini Bottom because the model is available, and I think it'd be interesting to jump around and stuff.
Yeah, that would be the easiest one I could get. I would still have to scale it, but
Yeah.
I think that would be kind of easy.
Cool. That'd be fun. Just like drop it into the same world or some shit and just play with it.
Yeah, as I was saying, just connect them. That'd be kind of cool. Just to be able to.
This guy's offering to rip the canyons model. Rip downtown rooftops.
Oh, yeah, do that. Do that
Oh my God,
if possible.
Wait, if you can rip it, dude.
Do that
so
and
many...
then do museum. Just put
Actually,
museum next to rooftops. Thanks.
Honestly,
the thing
if
is,
you
the
have
museum,
any other
like,
places, if you have any other places to rip, I would love to have those models too, so I can put them in Pavlov VR. Because I spent a lot of time making in Unity, or not Unity, in Unreal, the downtown Bikini Bottom map for Pavlov. It's a shooter game in VR, so you get to be in downtown Bikini Bottom. It's
That'd be pretty cool.
That's good. It's a great time. That Steam thing is like 20,000 downloads or something like that now.
I think that some of the most fun levels that we could use cruise boosting are obviously like, well, like, okay, because you have to program. Obviously, like, Kelp Woods is amazing, but that has the reason why it's fun is because of all the trampolines and stuff. So that would the basic level design without the props wouldn't be that great. I think that downtown Bikini Bottom would be fun. I think that maybe like Dutchman's ship would be fun, because like I feel like the fun of that level is more of like the interactivity, like when you have the buttons everywhere you got to press. I don't know. Downtown Bikini Bottom. If Seal can rip that, that'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
We don't want to like put too much work on Satch.
Oh yeah,
There's 2 weeks left, and I still have a lot to do.
Yeah,
exactly.
Can you just remake?
Hey, can you make a game, please?
I like this guy's comment here, guys. This may seem weird, but I want the fat guy on the floaty in Goo Lagoon as a playable character. Honestly, I agree with you, man. That guy has been used and abused by SpongeBob for years. He deserves.
Hey, to be fair, I do
the hero
try
in this game.
I do try to jump over him. I just don't get it very often.
You do, yeah. You do try to skip him, and it's possible. It's happened, but it's difficult. I just want that guy to know that
justice for fat guy. Make fat guys get free and rehydrated.
Yeah, make it free. He deserves to know that he is the true hero.
Fat guy skip.
Oh, I really hope that Oat Skip is in the new game. If it's not, I'm just gonna close and quit and uninstall it.
Shiny object routing is either going to be really bad or just different. I don't know what the hell is going to happen with that.
Are the shiny objects in the same place as the original? Or are they rescattering them?
Who knows, actually.
They said they're adding more.
They're adding more.
They're adding more.
Okay,
So
I actually agree with that.
Will the crab spatulas cost more?
I actually totally agree with that. The idea of adding more, because it does feel like
grindy at some points,
a
especially if you're playing it casual. But that's my question though, but does that mean that the crab spatulas are going to become more expensive?
Probably not.
They shouldn't. They should be cheaper, honestly. Well, if they're cheaper, then they break the game, because you can just get 8 free spatulas. I'm just thinking from 100% perspective. I think the game is a pain in the ass to 100% because of the crab shit. Just put SBA in the game. Just ruin it before it comes out. Any percent's already bad. 100%'s not getting good. It's over, boys.
Just put SBA in the game and then put it as a feature on the back of the box art. Just like advertise it.
Hate yourself. It's like in the SpongeBob text. Hate yourself.
Cheat. Yeah, cheat.
Now with all new methods of masochism.
Disable.
One tiki. It says like the splash text
One
works.
tiki.
One tiki works.
One tiki in the game. More excruciating than ever.
It works. What other questions we got in chat? Oh yeah, I'm still curious to see if they add cheat codes. I don't think that would make or break the game though. If they do decide to add cruise boosting, it'd be awesome if they had like a NG plus mode. That'd be cool. Like NG plus isn't like, I guess like the levels are like unlocked and you got like cruise boosting. I don't know.
That would be cool.
Yeah. But if all the levels are unlocked, that would just defeat the purpose of getting 75 to go in the Chumba, because it's like arbitrary, like which levels are unlocked and so forth. It really is just like a cruise boosting, what's it called, mode.
Yeah.
That would probably not be very useful for casual play. It'd be questionable why it's even in it.
Honestly, I would love in the new game. I would really hope, or at least just like as a request, it'd be pretty cool if they had challenge modes that existed, like special restrictions or things to make the game more difficult for casual players.
Oh.
Maybe like, I don't know, just coming up with ideas here. Like robots have double health or something. Bosses double health, I don't know, stuff like that. Or
Yeah.
like you're not, or like you can never obtain the cruise bubble or bubble bowl.
And then like I guess like have a mode, kind of like a challenge mode where you start with both.
It's so kind of like New Game Plus.
Yeah, kind of like that.
Yeah, I think yeah. Of course, some of the modes can be helpful in a sense,
That'd
because
keep it pretty
the
fresh.
point of them is to change the way that the game is played and make you think differently to finish the game from the
What if
start.
they added like a randomizer?
That'd be wild.
I mean, yeah, that'd be cool as hell. First things first, though, got to make sure the base game is good. And I think that if they take this into consideration, it's gonna be a lot better.
SpongeBob a gun.
Oh, a gun? Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
SpongeBob
Can't forget your-
encourages incel violence.
Yeah, can't forget your diet violence.
SpongeBob encourages journalism.
SpongeBob kills all incels live.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Of course, I have a Glock 19. I'm goofy.
BuzzFeed.
So why did this incel do this? It's because Sandy didn't talk to him in the game, and SpongeBob had a gun. Therefore he had to do it.
It's getting a little bit off topic.
Oh man.
I'm still having a lot of fun playing this, by the way.
Yeah, you've just been running around with the Super Cruise Boost.
It's like, seriously, there's a lot you can do with it. It's fun. Just showing off the movement. It really just shows like how much more creative the game is once you have this. And if you've already beaten it once, like sure, it does break the levels. It does break the level design, but it makes it so much fun. Like it's not intended, sure, but it just makes it so much more creative and interesting.
Great Barrier Reef!
I think the turning shit really just like forces you to like make a decision. Like you have to commit to running in a certain direction. You know?
Yeah.
You can't just like take it back. You're already committed to it. You have to go in that direction, which makes it more interesting for platforming. Yo, Snooks, thank you for the 11 months, by the way. I'll thank all the rest of the subs when we wrap this up and I start doing runs. But yeah, there's not much else to talk about.
Yeah.
I guess we should just mention like the tournaments are happening on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have the bracket open. We're probably gonna be streaming most of the matches on here, but some of them might get streamed to the BFB community channel. I don't know if I'm gonna end up doing runs on Friday. It's probably gonna be mostly just the tournament stuff, but it's gonna be a good time. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you should definitely come out and watch. It's good. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, it's pretty epic. And don't forget, guys, that the lights, camera, pants, repaint is still going on. We're at 900 textures now.
Oh yeah.
So we're really pushing forward on that. We still have 2 weeks to go. The deadline is gonna be I'm looking right now. I'm looking at like the 17th or the 16th.
Yeah, the 17th or 16th would be perfect because if you guys don't know, the plan is on the 18th of this month, it'll be the mark of 3 years since I got partnered on Twitch. So we're doing this as like a celebration type thing. And yeah, I don't know. For like, are you still like interested in doing the highlight reel for like the old school?
Yeah, I
and
definitely
stuff?
am. I was just voicing my concerns about finding specific clips and stuff from pre highlight reel days and stuff.
Yeah, that's a good
So
idea.
if there was a way to get access to some, or if you, because I know that you have an archive of every stream you've ever done, but I'm not about to ask you to go through that. It's
Oh
more
yeah.
so
If
I
people
feel
have
like
like
there's gotta be
specific
clips
moments,
somewhere.
I guess. I don't know how they have
Yeah.
specific moments, but it's probably just like a lot of those are just gonna be dead, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it would be difficult, but we can try and talk about it and figure something out. But yeah, I still have that on my mind, which would be cool. As long as it's feasible, I don't see why.
Yeah. It's just because the way Twitch like archives broadcasts, like we're not gonna be able to like pull from as much shit. But I
Yeah.
mean, there are like a lot of like meme runs, I guess, and casual playthroughs people can pull from that are like you can timestamp them. So that'll probably be like something people can do.
Yeah, if anybody has a favorite moments thing, or if anybody's ever, I guess if anybody's ever downloaded clips before, that could always be a thing too. If you can
Yeah.
send them to me as well, that's always a possibility. Yeah, it's some
Yeah.
good stuff.
It's gonna
But
be a good
Lights, Camera,
time.
Pants Repainted is also going to be on that day as a sort of fun thing to do. If we can get as many textures for that done as possible, that'd be epic. It's a good time. It's a clusterfuck and it's fun.
Yeah, we did
So-
Dutchman repainted a little while ago, like a year ago, and that was a blast.
Yeah, the repainted is a whole nother animal. The things that people do, because it's just so random. You never know what to expect, because people who are editing the textures most likely don't know where they even appear in the game. So someone will edit something and it'll appear
Right.
in like literally the best spot it could ever be, and people would die laughing at it. It's a really fun thing to do, and you have the numbers to produce all these textures. Because I know I couldn't sit and do all 1,800 alone. I think I want to say we've had a total of like 30 submitters so far. It's a big number. The total number of people who have contributed to this project. So if any of you guys are interested, just go to the make sure you're subbed first, and then go to the sub news channel, because that's got the Google Drive link.
Yep, I'll put the link to the Discord server in the description of this video.
Yeah, and check out the rule set for it, how to submit, how to edit a texture.
And now that we're getting closer to the deadline, I'm gonna be like promoting more, like posting your clips that you still have from the good old days.
yeah,
And of course
good
the
stuff.
repainted as well. Make it a
that'd
fun
be good
stream.
stuff too. Is it gonna? I'm guessing that's gonna be in the evening.
Yeah, probably start at like 8 or 9.
Perfect, and then you'll just go through the night.
Yep.
Epic
As
stuff.
always. Yeah, I
Yeah,
can't wait
I'm
for
excited. I'm excited. I always love hearing your live reactions to this kind of stuff, and this is definitely gonna be funny. I've play tested a couple versions back when we had like 500 or so textures, and it was already the greatest fucking disaster I've ever seen.
that.
So,
I heard like there's a reason I have to play as Patrick in this one. Is that like?
Yeah, we really want you to play as Patrick.
Are there any like?
I-
Because remember, you
I
can
can't
only select
explicitly
4
say why.
characters.
Right, but if you're doing depending on how we're choosing, you're doing the
Oh, the
story
movie,
mode,
right?
right? Yeah, well, the movie, yeah,
Movie?
you'll definitely be able to pick anybody. But if you're doing like because you said you were gonna do the bronze story mode and then just play through like
Yeah, well, I'll do bronze story mode, and then I'll do like the extra mini games that we didn't unlock. Like you're gonna have to give me an AR code to unlock, or like a save state, right? Like a save state
not
with everything
even
unlocked.
there's in-game codes there's a code menu in the game in the extras menu.
Okay, perfect. Yeah.
Input
So just
codes and it'll unlock everything for you. Yeah. So I would suggest you play through the story mode with 4 characters, and then when you go to play the other mini games, you can pick all the other characters that haven't been selected. There would be 2 more.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah.
We'll investigate all that it has to offer.
Yeah, it's great. All of the artwork pieces have already been edited. I believe most of the figurines have also been edited as well. So it's so funny. I can't wait.
Someday we might have like model swapping.
Oh my god.
That'd be
Yeah,
terrible.
that's if Dolphin can do it. That's only if Dolphin can.
Yeah.
We're kind of pushing Dolphin to its limits. I tried talking to people to see if we can get rewritten as well, like we did with Dutchman, but I don't think it's possible given the way that this game is built. It's not really the same. I really
Oh
wanted to
yeah, I
edit some
mean
extra
the
things,
the
but...
Dutchman is one of the worst built games ever made. I love how.
Well, no, but Dutchman's at least we could edit the text because all of the text that showed up in
Oh,
the
I
game was just
forgot
in a
about
big...
that. Oh.
Yeah, because it was only in a bunch of text files. But this game is actually well made, so like I can't figure out a way to get the text out to edit it.
I think
And
they're all just
I
like
wanted to...
images, aren't they?
What?
Are they actually text or are they images? Like,
No, it's text.
Okay.
It's all text. I'm talking about like menu options, character select, names of games, and game instructions and descriptions. That's all stored somewhere on the disk, but I have no way of accessing and directly editing them. Dutchman's was so badly made that it was so easy to change because it was just a bunch of text files, and you could just directly edit it in like Notepad.
God, that game is a mess.
It is. The repainted for that is still available on my Google Drive. I never got rid of it. Actually, I don't remember. I might have actually removed it.
Still real.
But I have everything for it, yeah, so it still exists. It's good stuff.
Oh. I guess this is just like a small thing too, is that like... Oh, never mind, I'm dumb.
You're kind of doing like a manual cruise boost on
Yeah,
that,
exactly. It's a manual cruise boost, yep.
I was going to say, you can do a manual cruise boost on that SpongeBob model that's up on the cliff there. Actually, I wonder if manual cruise boost... Oh, well, I don't know. Manual cruise boosting might not be possible.
Work.
I don't think that SpongeBob counts as a wall.
Oh, you can only do it. You can only get speed on walls.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Oh wait, but that would...
That's
thinking about characters though, because you can cruise boost off of characters.
I could add it.
I feel like that's simple. That makes sense.
Yeah, it's like, it's not that you can't get speed on. It's not that you can only get speed against a wall. It's more that like.
It's easiest to get it against flat walls.
We just don't know.
Yeah, we just simply don't know.
Oh, man, I guess that works though. Like it's functionally the same.
Yeah.
There's not much we can really say because we just don't know.
Wish we had that source code.
Oh, God, I really want to know. I want to know so badly. Wouldn't it be crazy if Heavy Iron just released it?
I'd cream.
Yeah. They're probably not even allowed to because of all the stuff that's going on with this game right now. Who would have thought this game would be so relevant in this
day? We can
day?
ask them, pretty please.
Now, people are already disassembling the game. They're already doing that. Seal's, that's what Seal's working on. Seal's actually trying to make like a complete like port for PC. It's pretty cool. But yeah, I think we talked about pretty much more than everything we wanted to talk about. So I'm actually going to cut this off now. Thank you guys for popping on today, and we'll keep in touch in the server where we're talking about the cruise boosting stuff. Satch, thank you again, man. It was a real treat working with you and playing your simulator, man. Super impressive.
Yeah, thanks.
we're
It was a lot
all
of fun making
thankful.
this.
And yeah, thank you
Yeah, this is
guys
epic.
for also coming on tonight as well. All right, boys. Guess I'll see you in chat later. We're gonna go ahead and transition to the runs, but
Sweet.
have a good one.
See you
Yeah,
guys.
you have a good one, man.
Thanks for coming on, boys.
Yeah, always a pleasure, dude.